Hello, everybody. My name is Gavin Kerr. This is Between the Notes, and today we have the honor of having the lovely Amie Bishop here. How are you doing today, Amie?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. So, one of the first things that I want to ask is, how would you describe the genre of your music?
Oh man. Okay, so I'm a songwriter. I say what I perform is mostly rock and roll,
Yeah.
but I collaborate with anybody. But I would say what I write is rock and roll.
Yeah.
I've done some Americana, but I'll like right now I've got some collaboration going on with some trap. I mean, it's just I've got some rap. It's just I'll do anything.
Well, and
But
that's what
I'm
really
rock and
confused me
roll.
at first because when Brian first sent me like your name and all that and the poster and everything for advertisement, I was all like, oh, all right, cool. She has got a little bit of country to her as a twang, but then I looked more into it, I was all like, whoa, this is the exact opposite. 'Cause the first that
Right?
I was interested or introduced to was the rock and roll that you do. Where do all these influences come from for you?
Man, okay, so I have a huge theater background. So in
Me
theater,
too. Me too.
okay, great.
Yeah.
So you kind of got to know everything. You have to know how to line dance. You have to, you have to know just every kind of genre. You know, I grew up as a dancer, so you learn contemporary, ballet, jazz. You learn it all, and so music's the same way too. So it's
No,
just
I understand that. I when I first joined in to choir, because I had no foot-eye coordination at all when I was younger. I did some sports, but I was very clumsy, and then there was like eventually a switch flipped in my head where my body was like, "Oh, this is how we function," and I learned how to actually move around like a human being. And
right.
I think probably one of the most difficult things that I had to learn dance-wise was tap dancing.
Yeah, I can tap dance too. And
Yeah.
that in that you get into jazz and you get into
Yes.
like bluesy music and Motown. So it's like I have just like I feel like I can do anything. I would say the hardest thing to do is rap because
Yeah.
that's just not me. It feels weird, but I'm trying.
Do you now when you said you do rap music, this is just from me seeing typically when women are in a rap song, they're usually singing the chorus or some kind of melody or something like that. Do you actually rap yourself?
I don't consider it rap. See, I think it sounds like hip hop, but everybody that's listening to
Okay.
it, they're like, "That's you're rapping," and I'm like, "Am I? Am I rapping? I guess I am." I don't know, but I'm just kind of doing what the guy gave me. He gave me a song, and I was like, "This is awesome." It's got a huge like Cardi B influence to it, and I was like, "You know what? That's where I need to go with it." So
Do you
I
change your voice or do you keep the twang when you rap?
no, I alter it to whatever. I just alter
Okay.
it. Yeah.
That's how I am. Because I host. I've sang in the symphonic and show choir, doing classical music, and then show tunes. Then I did musicals, and I was singing in a metal band. And right now, I currently host karaoke and trivia nights. And when I do karaoke, I do different songs. And I change my voice up. How do
Okay.
you, in your mind, how do you process the different voices that you do?
Oh man, I guess it's just been going on for so long, it just kind of clicks. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
I mean, you kind of understand that, right? It's like you
yeah.
just know how to just flip that character.
I think of them kind of like the gears on a bike in
Right.
a sense, where like where I'm gonna place my voice at and how I
Hmm.
need to change things. But I get that it's kind of like a switch. Do you ever do that when speaking to people? Do you find that like you'll start to
Oh,
almost mimic their
yeah.
accents?
Oh, yeah. Like when you get
Yeah.
around somebody who's British for too long, I think that's the theater person in us, we're like, your mind just like starts to wander and go, I want to kind of work on that accent while I'm at it. It just kind of just,
So I used to no, I completely understand. And I used to wait tables, and I would have three tables in a section, all within 10 feet. And if you watched me, I don't know why customers never called me out on this, but I would switch from an English to a British to a Russian to an Australian accent in the matter of like 10 feet. Like,
yeah,
and just bounce
yeah,
around. Yeah.
yeah.
Like, oh, I
How
didn't
do
know
you
you
feel
were
about
French.
that?
Like, me neither. Ho, ho, ho.
It's not that bad. Like, okay, so I live in Arkansas, and you can imagine like how southern some people get. So when I get
Yeah.
around people that are super southern, I just start the twang just comes
Oh,
out real deep, like. And then you take me down to Louisiana, and it just gets worse. But then
yeah.
I'm originally from California, so I go back there, and then I come back, and it's like I've got that whole thing going on. So it just depends on where I'm at and what I'm
So
doing.
what brought you from California to Arkansas?
My parents moved here, so
Okay.
they owned, yeah, there was a family business out there, and they moved it out
Yeah.
here, and
Nice.
we've been here. Yeah, the family's been here ever since, but I moved away like a million times and came back.
Gotcha. Well, so you decided to stray away from the family business then?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. How'd that go? You say, Mom, Dad, I want to go be a musician.
Well, they kind of always knew that, I'm the entertainer of the family, and I've
Yeah.
always had a real free spirits where you can't hold me down, do anything like that. And I really you kind of regret not being part of the family business because that's so cool,
Yeah.
to have that and be part of that and be with your family all day. But then again, I wouldn't be happy because this
I
is what
mean,
I want to do.
do you think that you'll maybe take up the family business when you get a little older? I'm not sure what the business is.
It's an aviation business. No,
Okay.
no, my sisters and my cousins, they've all got it under control.
All right. So it's like a family business. It's not
Oh
like
yeah,
a mom and pop thing. You got everybody with you there.
yeah.
You
You
got a whole
got
squad.
yeah, my grandfather and his kids, and then you've got my mom and then aunts and uncles, cousins, yeah, sisters.
Wow.
Hmm.
Wow. Wow. So how long have you been doing music then? I want to know
Oh,
how long have you been doing it, and then how long did it take you to make it a career?
oh my gosh. Okay, so I have been, I don't know where to start. So I've been singing forever,
Yeah.
just I knew I could sing when I was probably 6 years old, rocking out. My dad always threw on some records, mom and dad both, every weekend, just blaring it. And then I went into choir because I was a cheerleader, and my cheer sponsor was like, "You can sing," and so she was also the choir teacher. She put me in choir,
Yeah.
and then I was like, "Huh, I really can sing." And then it was probably, I would say, about 4 years after I graduated high school is when things started to change. When I realized I wanted to be on stage singing, because I was a cheerleader in college and cheerleader in high school, and that just wasn't doing it for me. I was in front of an audience and stuff, and I was also a dancer growing up, but that wasn't doing it for me. And
Yeah.
so I got a guitar and I sat down and just started writing. So I would say probably, yeah, about 4 or 5 years after I graduated high school is when I went, you know what? I think I want to write music. And
Yeah.
I wrote some cheesy songs. If I pulled them out, they're cheesy. They're
I mean, if
horrible.
you got them, I'd love to hear one of them.
It's so bad.
I'd love to at least hear some of those. Oh, I got them. I got them too. We all have them. Like you got those lyrics and you think they're so good. You're so
Oh,
proud of yourself. You finish that song, and you're all like, "Yes, I could
yeah.
see this being on the radio one day if I could just find the right person." And then 2 years later, you look back, you're like, "Oh, sweetie, ooh,
Yeah.
mm,
And
yeah,
you hang on to them just to kind of look back and see how far you've come,
yeah, yeah." Yeah, absolutely. And not even from a writing perspective, but they really hold memories, especially when you have a song that was very significant to you that you wrote and you played a lot, at least by yourself. When you
Right.
look back at that, you think, wow, all these times, all these things that happened when I wrote this song.
Right. And it's such a huge accomplishment for somebody who's never written a song to actually finish the song and record it and write it and be done with it. So
Yeah.
that's a huge accomplishment for anybody just to finish the song,
Yeah. Yeah.
because you never really think, oh, how many songwriters do you know, friends that you have that write music and they don't put it out there? They just hold on to it and they never finish it. And
I
they
mean,
could
not
have,
even that. How many songs have I know how many I've written. I'm sure I can't imagine how many you've written that you never take into a studio.
Oh yeah, they're just sitting on my computer.
Yeah. They're just there in a book on pages or just
Yep.
programmed in a computer for now.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Yeah. You ever pull
Uh-huh.
some of them out of the vault?
Yeah, I've pulled some out recently, and they're actually kind of cool. So it's, I'm just kind of excited to do them again. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
That's
And then
exciting. I
you can use those old lyrics, the ones that didn't work out. You can just use them. I sit there with a lyric book of just all these songs that I've written, and when I find somebody that sends me some music or I come up with something, I can just pull it out like a catalog.
Yeah, that's right. My little sister, she is a phenomenal lyricist, and we do that all the time. She has probably 8 books of lyrics.
Ooh.
Like all she does is write and write and write. And I'll sit there and she'll strum chords and I'll play like a lead guitar lick, just making stuff up to it, and something will stick. And I'll look at her, I'll be like, all right, what do you got? And she'll be like, I don't know, let me see. And she just kind of flips through. And then we're like,
Yeah.
these fit in that. I'm like, okay, cool. There we go. There's another song. 20 minutes later.
Right. Are her books organized?
Um, they're organized by when she wrote them. Like, so
Okay.
she has like,
Yeah,
she has like the years that she wrote them in, and that's how she keeps them organized. But other than that, it's like she'll start a song, she'll write the whole song, and then she'll go to the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my books are just doodles. Like, I'll write a song and I'll finish it, or I'll write half a song and then I'll start another song, and I have bits and puzzle pieces all over my books.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel you.
When you write, do you start off with lyrics or do you do instrumental first, or is it kind of mix and match?
Well, I mean, it's just depends on the weather. I mean, there'll be
Yeah.
I'll write the lyrics first. I'll come up with the melody first. I'll take it off a drum beat. I would say the majority of the time, I take it from a bass line. I don't know what it is with me
Really?
yeah, but if I hear a really good bass line, I'm always writing off that bass line. I feel like I always
Interesting.
lean towards the bass line.
Yeah. Do you write now when you're writing melodies, are they sort of free flowing over the bass, or do you write them directly on with the bass? Like, do you keep the guitar and the bass melodies pretty much the same?
It just depends. I mean, either or. I'll flip it
That's good.
around. And then
I like the variety with that though.
yeah, I usually take myself through like a little process. When I have something, when I've come up with a little melody, I'll try to change it to every key I can.
Yeah.
And then I'll try it in every octave that I can. And then I'll try like 4 or 5 different ways of singing it just to,
Oh wow.
because how you start writing and then you get stuck in that right off the
Yeah.
bat. You find what you want, and then you go, that's where you got to stop and go, okay, I need to try it. That's what I've been doing. I would say this last year, I've been
Yeah.
really focusing on trying to change how I write instead of just diving straight into that first melody you find.
Yeah. I like that a lot. I'm gonna have to try that with my next one, because that's something that I've struggled with. And the way that I've been trying to avoid that is I'll listen to other musicians. Like, I'll just blast System of a Down or Nine Inch Nails or Eminem. I'll just blast something in my ear while I'm writing, so that way I sort of have influence from them subconsciously at the very
Great.
least.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna do that. That
Oh,
sounds
dude!
good.
Oh, it's so much fun, and it's really weird too, especially when I do write any sort of rap lyrics. I used to do this all the time when I was cooking in a kitchen. I would freestyle quietly to myself because I would get self conscious sometimes. But I'd have like Eminem or NWA or something like that blasting in my ear, but I would be rapping completely different lyrics to their beats, and I
Oh,
would be able to tune out the words that they were saying and add my own to it. And I found that
cool.
that really helped influence how I would write different songs.
Yeah, I think a lot of writers do that. Before I go down and sit down to write, because now it's changed to where it's not just I write whenever it feels good. The moment's right. Now it's like I have to go sit down and write now.
Yeah,
So I'll turn on my Spotify, and I've got this playlist and that playlist, and I'll just try to find just some crazy stuff and sit there and get influenced for about an hour and just, whatever kind of genre I'm writing in that day, I hunt for it and I listen to it, and it's kind of the same thing.
I enjoy doing that. If I do that, a lot of my writing is very sporadic, and it'll be like, that's why I have the notes in my book, and then I'll go back and add on to that. But when I do go back, or if I decide to just sit down and write, then I usually have like a bowl of sunflower seeds and a big cup of some hot tea with me. Like I get myself all nice and pampered and ready to write. Yeah.
Ready to go now. I know.
Yes. On the journey. Yep, it's got to be my number 2 pencil has to be exactly as sharp as it needs to. Not too sharp, because I don't want to smear the lead. I want to smear the graphite. Like, yeah. But then there will be times where like I'm driving and I'll be on the highway going 70. I'll be like, oh, that's a lyric, and I'll look around me real quick and I'll like just pull off to the side, turn my hazards on, and just start scribbling away really quick so I don't forget it.
Right. Mine usually come to me in the middle of watching something or I'm doing something. And so, your notes inside your phone, I'm like, on my phone. And my husband's like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm writing down some lyrics.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
My phone.
You wouldn't understand. It's musician stuff.
You don't understand. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You heard somebody say something and you're like, oh my God, I got to write that down.
Yeah, absolutely. The worst is when, what do you think is worse? When you forget a lyric or when you half remember a lyric?
Oh God, both.
Yeah.
Oh man. When you wake up in the middle of the night and you've just got this hook in your brain and you're like, okay, I got to get up and I've got to record this, but you don't.
Yeah.
And then the next morning you're like, man, that was a masterpiece I just came up with in my mind last night. Well, I would say when you don't write it down, I would say that when you just let it go, those are the best ones, man.
They really are. Those shower songs you make when there's no way that even if you tried to write it down or get on a computer, you just short circuit or make the paper soggy and it'd be ruined anyway. For me, it always drove me crazy when I would half remember something, so I remember like the very beginning or the end of it, but everything in between was gone. And it's like I almost have it. I almost got it.
You could come up with an album called The Shower Songs.
Shower songs. There is I don't know, do you listen to comedic singers at all?
Oh, okay. Not really, but I'm really into that show, Dave.
Dave? Yes, I have. I just finished the newest episodes that came on.
Oh man.
Dave with Little Dicky, yeah. That's a fun show. I like that show because that show's it's a very honest, very, very vulnerable and open. Yeah. I am Dave. Yep.
Yeah. I dig it. So
I listen to
that with the comedy.
Yeah. I listen to a lot of comedic music just because one, it's refreshing to hear somebody who truly loves music but doesn't take it seriously. And then also just I don't know, it inspires me to write about new things. Because, I always want to write out my problems. I always want to write out, and you hear it all the time over every genre. It's breakups, it's hardship, it's difficult, it's struggles, and they can be really empowering songs. They can help you through. A lot of times, they actually make the way you feel worse. Ironically, like especially breakup songs. Yeah. But I've been turning to those a lot lately, comedic music, to sort of refresh myself. And there's a comedian named Trevor Moore. And he has a song called Drunk Text to Myself.
Oh, man. I'm going to have to look that one up.
You'll have to check it out. It's just these horrible business ideas and, like, things he should do with his friends.
Well, there's quite a few country songs that you go, what? What is that one about? Spit, chew, dip. I don't know. It's about
chew tobacco, spit. Yeah.
To me, that's idiotic. It's idiotic, but man, it's a hit.
It's pandering. It's pandering is what it's. Bo Burnham has it. Bo Burnham's another comedian. He has a song about it. He has a song about country songs, and he starts it off. He says, "Oh, it's a bunch of metrosexuals who dress up like they work on a field and they're writing from the comfort of a private jet about working in a tractor, and they're just pandering to an audience that they would never like. They live in towns that they would never go to, type of deal.
Right. See,
Yeah,
that's just weird.
yeah,
I wish
that's what that is.
That's where I want to go, is to be on that level.
I thought you were gonna say the solo cup song. Do you remember that one?
Oh, that's another good one. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's so catchy, but the guy's been interviewed a million times. He says it's just a stupid song about a cup. There's no deeper meaning to it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is.
The most idiotic songs. I mean, those sell. And then also like controversial songs, those sell. So if I could think more along those lines when I'm writing, like what is in right now, what's going on, that we could make fun of it.
What's a good way to piss people off enough where they'll buy this, but not so much where they'll cancel me?
WAP.
WAP.
Man, that girl is smart. That's smart.
Yeah, she is. That's exactly what it did. It had the sex appeal, which caught everybody's attention. It was outrageous. You know what's interesting, though? I feel like it was only controversial because she did it as a serious song. Because look at the Lonely Islands and the songs that they do. They do all kinds, like Dick in a Box.
Yeah.
What? Like, they do all kinds of crazy stuff. But the comedic.
That song.
I sing that song all the time. The other day, I was doing dishes. I didn't even have earbuds in.
It's a kitchen song.
Yeah, I was doing dishes the other day. I didn't even have earbuds in. The house was dead silent. The dogs were sleeping. The cats were lounging. And here I am singing Jizz in My Pants while scrubbing out pots and pans. Like...
I know, it's horrible, but
yeah,
it's fun.
It's so much fun. Oh, they're genius, and they did it as comedians, so they're able to get away with it because comedy allows you to say crazy things, and I feel like because she did it as a
you hear from all these serious writers, they're like, "That's horrible," and I'm like, "No, they're smart.
It's art. It's art. Yeah, it's art. People who don't like them because they're making money in their industry while making fun of them.
Yep.
That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I promise you.
I so want to have a popular stupid song. I mean, I'm just hope, please.
Do it. Do it. Why not?
Right.
People will love it. Natalie Portman did a song with Lonely Islands, and it was a hit. That's what it was. It was just a song. It was literally a song about Natalie Portman. It was about like her like doing coke in college and punching people in the face and sleeping with everybody. Like it was her singing about how much of like a badass she is. And it was this huge joke song. And it was hilarious. People loved it. But I feel like if WAP would have been released as a comedic song, it would have been received in a complete. I think it still would have been popular, just as popular, just because it is a catchy tune. It appeals to what people like, sex, drugs, rock and roll, that lifestyle. But I don't think there would have been nearly as much controversy around it.
Right. Like I think it ticked off every mother. Like when I read like Facebook feeds, Instagram, it just ticked off every mom. And when they would put on this big rant about how they hated the song and it was horrible, I would go in and just put a little comment in there. I was like, she's getting pressed right now because you're so angry. So I was like, she's a smart woman because she knows that this is causing controversy and you're giving her free press because now everybody that's reading this is going to go to YouTube and look it up. So you're actually helping her out even though you're ranting about it. So
that's probably one of the most difficult things because in our nature, we want to react. Right. We always want to react to things that we don't like, but the best thing to do is to respond to them. And with something like that, the best way to respond is to not do anything and just let it fizzle out.
Everybody that complained about it was giving her press. So that is so smart on her part. I was like, wow, man, I want to do that.
What would you write about? What would you write about?
I don't know. Just basically mind twisted everybody into giving her press. She didn't care what kind of press she was getting because press is press. You
Yeah.
know, she's like, I'm
I
going to get
think
people to watch this regardless.
I think that it would be a really funny thing for you to do, to do like since you do have that twang to you, and it would play into this, do a country song that took and all you sang about were presidents that people loved, but only sing about the bad things that they did, and
Oh,
then sing about presidents that people hate typically, and then sing about all the good stuff they did.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and do that misdirection with them. But then at the same time, but play into it still. Be all like, oh, I hate Trump. I hate Trump because of, and then say like good things that he did. Or they'll be like,
Yeah.
oh, I hate JFK, or I love JFK, and then start saying the bad things that he did.
Right. That's a good idea. I'd probably have to hit Bill Clinton because, you know, he's from Arkansas, so.
Oh, yeah. That's a fun target, but I feel like it's an easy target. Overall, I mean, he wasn't an awful president. He just, you know, couldn't keep it in his pants. He's doing dumb stuff.
No, he was an awful president, but I heard he was good in bed. Or something.
Yeah.
No, I have no idea.
So during I mentioned I do trivia. During one of my trivia games, I had a question, and it was like, when some president of another country met Bill Clinton, what was the first question he asked him? And one of the answers was, "How's Monica?"
Oh.
The answer was, "Do you think OJ did it?"
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was probably one of my favorite questions in all the trivia, just because the actual answer was somehow worse than what you thought the answer probably was.
Wow.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. So, what do you typically enjoy doing on your free time? I imagine that you got to be crazy busy, because being a musician, it's not always like party, sex, drugs, rock and roll like people think. It's mostly work. It's networking. It is designing merch. It's marketing. It's writing. It's recording, and then it's rewriting. It's a lot. So, what do you do in your free time? How do you sort of stay collected and keep together?
So I like to, so I work out. I have to work out or I lose my mind.
Nice.
I've got a son. My son's 9, so anything that involves doing anything with him. And then I would say I like to grill. If I just want to like just chill, I grill. I don't know, days at the pool. You know, I love to go to music events, but it seems like I haven't been able to because I'm always gigging or something like that. Honestly, it's sad. I really don't get to hang out like people think I would hang out because I'm usually gigging or I'm practicing, you know? So, yeah. So my free time is pretty much just, I like to chill outside, you know?
That's how I am. I'm a workhorse. I'm a go kind of guy, but once I sit down, I'm sitting down. You're not gonna if it's my day off, you're gonna, at the very most, I'll fold laundry while I watch TV.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
I feel like there's just no free time, but I guess I have to incorporate my chores into my free time. Like if I'm going to cook dinner, I'm like, I'm going to try to do it all on the grill, you know? Just so I can, you know, get out there.
What do you like to cook? What's your signature dish?
I don't really have a signature dish, but anything that's on the grill, I like to do. Burgers, shrimp. Yeah.
All right. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna plan an Amie day where you're gonna cook dinner, but then myself and we'll find some other musicians and we'll play a show for you and your family. So that way you get to relax. You know, I'll help you cook. I cook myself. So I'll help you cook. We'll get it going, and then you and your family can enjoy the show and have a nice relaxing evening. That's what we'll do.
No. Yeah. I know. I feel so bad because like Friday night I had a gig and there's my husband and my son. You know, it was a kid-friendly gig. So there they are. That's our Friday night. And so everybody's like, what did you guys do for the 4th? And I was like, well, we had a gig, so, which is great. But, you know, it's just like that's their off time, too, is coming to my gigs. So.
Yeah, I remember I had like I would have girlfriends who would always thought it was so cool, like, oh my god, you got a show tonight. I'm like, yeah, I do. You want to come? Yeah, no problem. And then they're running the merch booth or something,
Right,
and they're
right.
like, oh, this is
Or
kind of cool, I guess.
they want to hang out, and you're like, man, I don't have that many breaks. I'm not gonna. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
like
get
I have to set up the stage. I got to help tear down the stage, and I got to play the
yeah.
show, and then I got to talk to fans and stuff. Like, we'll hang out
Mhm.
later. Well,
Yeah, you got to make your way around too. You can't
yeah,
like just hang out with one person. Yeah, you got to
no,
say hello to everybody. Yeah.
no. Thankfully, it's a double-edged sword. Like for me, I was the lead singer of a metal band for several years, and so when I got off stage, I was profusely sweaty. So
Yeah.
people like they want to come say hi to me, and then after a couple minutes, they'd walk away and be like, "Oh,
You're like,
he's gross." I'm like, "Yeah, I am. Yeah." So it's great to see you. Go on, next person.
right. I know.
Yeah,
That's what I should just straight up tell people. Hey, when they ask, hey, or when they tell me they're coming to the show tonight, I'm like, great. I should just automatically right after that say, do you want to run the merch table? Do you want to
yeah,
run the camera?
yeah. Do it. Do it.
Do you want a job?
Yeah. Oh, some people are ecstatic to do it. This one kid, Vinny, he was this mountain of a kid, biggest teddy bear in the world, sweetest human being I know, and his job was to help set up things because he's very strong, and then also start mosh pits. That was his job. Yep, his job was to carry heavy things and then throw people around and get them amped up, and he did a
That's
wonderful job at it.
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, he's the hype man. He was the hype man.
Yes, he was. The only downside is when he would stand right at the front of the stage in the center and just block off everybody's view. That was like the only downside to him.
Oh.
But he was a sweet kid, though. I really enjoyed having him there. So you've been playing shows. That's got to be really. I know you said you had to work the 4th of July, unfortunately, but that's got to be nice and kind of refreshing because this past year, I don't know
Yeah.
if unless you were doing something online, you were just kind of
No, we
taking
were,
time off from live.
Arkansas did not really shut down all that long. So I think there was probably just a couple weeks where it just shrink. And then our governor was like, we can open up to about 33%. So we were still gigging. It just wasn't the whole band. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, it was just me and a guitar. And no lie, it was so weird. We had to sit 12 feet apart. We had to sit because they didn't want us, traveling in each other's circle. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it was just strange. But we gigged. It wasn't a lot of gigs. It was probably like once or twice a month, but it was way more than the rest of the world was doing. So
Yeah.
I gigged all the way through it. So
Wow. Good for you.
it
That's
was cool.
amazing.
Yeah, to be back where we're at now, thank God. Oh,
I
God.
can already imagine like the comments of people hearing that about art because I had no idea. Here in Ohio, I thought we were pretty lenient. I know everybody kind of shit on Florida throughout the whole thing just because they like never really shut down. They just kind of said,
Yeah.
"Hey, just stand a little further from each other when you're hanging out at the bars and the beaches and everything else." But I thought Ohio was pretty lenient. We shut down for probably like 2 weeks. Everything was like 100% pretty much shut down except for grocery stores. Then restaurants were open as far as takeout went, which in all honesty was really nice. I could drive around and nobody was out. It was kind of great. I was like, wow, this apocalypse thing ain't that bad. Like, I know. Part of me does miss. Like today, it's so nice out. Hearing the birds chirp when you went outside, it was interesting.
Carnival on the holidays too. That was nice. I was like, it's a holiday. We're not doing anything. I kind of like it.
Yeah. The whole world was a holiday for a little bit.
I know. Yeah, I kind of missed that whole time.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to say maybe it'll come back because I also do enjoy the world being back. But if it did, we acknowledge the silver linings.
Yes, the silver linings. Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Is your son musically inclined like you are?
I would say so. He hasn't really just attached himself to an instrument, but he loves music. He likes to sing. He's played some drums. He's played a little guitar. His dad's a bass player.
Nice.
Yeah, we were actually in a band together.
Oh, is that how you two met?
Yeah.
Is that it? You covered your face and everything. That's adorable. All right, I got another story. What happened?
Okay, so him and I were like the main writers.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say the main writers, but me and him wrote really well together because
Yes.
I like book lines.
Yeah.
So, and then
That makes sense. You saw me, you're like, hey, I like how you slapped that bass.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I have a connection to bass and drums, just the whole rhythm section.
Yeah.
So anyway, we just over time just developed connection, and then we dated for a while. The band hated it, and we knew it was like the moral sin of bands. We just knew you can't date somebody in the band.
Yeah.
It's just no bueno. And then we wound up pregnant. So we were like, we're not together now, but I mean, we created like a music baby. So
yeah, I like that. I like they made a music baby.
We did little music.
Was that So, if you don't mind me diving a little bit deeper into that, then did the pregnancy did it go well at first, and then you split up later, or was that kind of where it started to get a little rocky?
I would say we were kind of, the way I perceive it, we were rocky. We were rocky before I got pregnant. It was just one of those things, you know. You kind of know that you shouldn't be dating somebody in the band.
Yeah.
Number one. And then I knew that this wasn't going to work, but then that was too late.
Yeah.
So I think for him it was different, but I can't speak for him.
Yeah.
You know?
I wanted to ask you too. Yeah.
Right. And so you're only getting one side of the story.
Yeah.
But you know, I knew it wasn't going to work. Yeah.
Are you two able to have a good relationship now that you've grown past everything, and you know you have a kid, he's 9 years old?
Right. Right now, I say we're in a really good spot. I mean,
good.
It was rough. We have joint custody. Yeah. You know, we both share him.
Yeah.
In the beginning, it was really hard for both of us.
I bet it's only child, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd imagine first child, only child.
Oh wow. Yeah, but his are like a lot older, so there's a huge age gap, and none of them are in the house. So I'm raising him like a single child. So
yeah. Well, I'd imagine. So my parents, they split up when I want to say I was 8 years old, about 8 years old, and then they were 17 and 19 when they had me. So looking back at very, very young, So looking back at it as an adult, when I was little, I didn't quite understand the situation. When they split up, I wasn't quite comprehending what's going on because they were on again, off again a lot. And so when they initially like officially cut it off, I was like, oh, okay, I'll see him again. I've moved my mom. I'll see my birth father again, you know, some other time in a few months or something like that. And then it sort of sink in, and that made me sad. But then looking back at it as an adult, I'm like, wow, you know what? I'm really glad that they were able to finally break away from one another, just because it created a much healthier atmosphere for me.
Yeah.
That's what it takes sometimes.
It's the best choice for Jonah, because I think we'd be ripping each other's hair out right now.
Yeah. Well, and then he gets
great music, but other than that.
And I'm very envious of him from the perspective of having such a musically inclined mother, and apparently a musically talented father as well.
He's really
my parents, they enjoyed listening to music. I got the Avril Lavigne and Bon Jovi from my mom, and then the Korn and Limp Bizkit from my birth father. But over time, I've had to sort of carve my own path on what I enjoy listening to.
Oh yeah, Jonah's getting like an eclectic mix. I mean, it's just my musical taste and his dad's musical taste are completely different. So it's flip flop, you know.
I'd imagine. What's it like being in the studio with you? Because you do so many different genres. I have a feeling it's a different atmosphere each time.
Yeah, I'm really easy to work with. Like, well, I say that, but who knows? I'm one of those really open people. I'm not gonna say I have to stick to this because this is the way I want it. I just kind of just go with my gut. hopefully I'll have enough energy. I'm fun. I like it. I love the studio. I get so pumped when it comes to
Yeah.
recording time. But I'd say the last 10 songs I've written have not been in a studio. I mean, we're in my cellar. So
Okay.
I don't really consider that a studio, but it is.
Yeah.
You know, when I think of studio, I think of going to somebody's place and all of us are there together, and you know, we lay down.
They got all the sound pads on the walls, the fancy speakers, and the huge layout with all the knobs and everything. Yeah.
The track, and then the drums go, and then the bass goes, you know, and then the vocals are last, and we're all laying around. We all ordered pizza.
Yeah.
I haven't done that in a while. Yeah. I haven't done that in a while. Now it's been like, here, I'll record this part. I'll get somebody to do the drums at their house. They do it at their house. And then they send me the files, and then I send it off to somebody to give me the bass line or all, you know, whatever. It's just so random. Yeah. It's all over the place.
Nice. Nice. No, I definitely remember taking a lot of studio naps.
Mm-hmm.
You know, fall asleep to the beats of the drum or the bass line.
Yeah, I feel like I miss that, and I wish, you know, we could still do that, and we can. It's just, this is so much easier because if I don't have to require everybody to be together all at once.
Yeah,
I can write a song, and then I can go, okay, I need a drummer for this, and I'll send it to him, and I'll be like, okay, this is kind of what I want. Now, can you just record me some drums? You know?
Yeah. So are you doing all your recording at home then, or are you just doing demos at home and then going to some other studio and doing the full recording there?
So it's a mix. So I'll record basically the vocals and the guitars from my house. Anything electronic will come from my house. There's also, hold on.
Oh, you're good.
So there's also there's a friend of mine that is just an amazing mixer, you know, and so I'll send him some stuff, and he'll be like, that sounds kind of cheesy, that synth that you have. So he'll change the synth, you know, and so it just kind of moves all over the place. I finished a song. Actually, me and a friend of mine finished a song, but we didn't have drum tracks. What we did is we used a basic track, wrote the whole thing, took out the drums, and then handed it to a drummer. And then put you know, that's like not what you used to do. You used to lay the drums down first, you know? Yeah. So it was just a backwards, it was completely backwards, but that was during COVID.
I found that that's becoming a more common practice in a sense. So like when I was with the band, the way that we recorded our last EP was we did very basic drums, that were programmed. And then we did the guitar, the bass, the vocals in that order. And then our drummer recorded all of his stuff live. So that way he was able to do variations and things like that and change things that he wanted to throughout the song without drastically having to change anything else.
Yeah, that's, you know, it's kind of easier that way because you're not the drummer. They're always the first to go. And it's like, you know, so it kind of gives them this, I don't know.
Flexibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it definitely, it does give them some space. Do you have a specific song that you wrote that you just hold so dear to your heart? Every time that you play it or hear it, you really feel it, or maybe you don't play it because of how much you feel it, and it's just kind of a for you song.
I would say Eraser. That one is like, man. Woo. It was a
Tell me a bit about
it. So
if you're comfortable, if you will, I'd love to hear some about it.
So I was really messed up in my brain at this time. It was one of those moments in life where I was dating somebody, and it turns out he'd gone through a divorce.
Yeah.
And it turns out he was still dating his ex-wife, and no lie, her best friend. So he was dating me, his wife, and her best friend all at the same time. And I was actually in love with this guy.
Was he dating his ex-wife and her friend at the same, like, together, or you don't know? He just knew that there was too many people in this kitchen.
That's right. And so I gathered that I basically hooked up with a narcissist, and I got sucked into that trap. And it really, they mentally mess with your brain. And at that
Oh yeah.
time, I didn't really know what was going on because if you're not familiar with that, you don't
Yeah.
know. And it really screwed up my brain. And so that song is about what narcissists do.
Yeah.
They erase people. They just
Yeah.
erase people, eraser.
Yep.
So,
No, I love that.
and it just, man, that guy tore me apart. And it's
I
not that
believe it.
he tore me apart; it's his mental issues just really screwed me up.
It made you feel like you tore yourself apart and that everything was your fault.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. hmm
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's over, and it took me a long time to come out of it, and it was just really, really hard. So a lot of songs came from that time period, but I'd say every time I sing that song, I think about, wow, that those types of people are just, man, little devils,
Yeah.
little
So
devils.
do you perform that live, or do you just keep that one to yourself and perform it at
Yeah,
home?
we performed that one. Yeah,
Wow. Wow.
I think
What
people
goes?
I think people like it because it's kind of a pun, and it well, not really a pun. What would you call that? Where it's you're saying erase her, but it's eraser is the name of the
Okay,
song.
yeah, it's play on words.
On words, yeah. So people like that. That it's
Yeah.
they think I'm going to sing about an eraser on a pencil. When no, I'm saying about you've got to erase her, get her out of your
Yeah.
mind. She's nothing. Yeah.
No, I like that a lot. Actually, when you said it, I thought of ashes. I thought of
Yeah.
like something like kind of like fading away.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. It wasn't a fade. It was an erase job.
Yeah.
It's a
No, it makes sense because when you erase something, there's still like that tiny little
yeah,
that
yeah,
mark there still that you can never
yeah.
fully get away. It leaves
That's
imprints
right.
on the
And I
paper.
sing about that in there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I totally point that out in there too.
So you've had some crazy things happen, especially in relationships. What have you been doing to, I guess, heal from those? Have you just been letting time do it? Have you done therapy or music therapy? Have you done
Oh
meditation?
man, I've been through so much therapy. I'm just, but I totally admit it. There's nothing wrong with therapy. It's very
No.
helpful. I've always had trouble with men. It has always just been, I don't know what my problem is. Well, actually, I do now. I know what it is, and I don't have the problem now. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I've recovered well.
Yeah.
It took
If you don't
many,
mind
many
me asking, what was the problem?
I think it's just I think it's low self-esteem. When you start
Yeah.
out with a low self-esteem, it it doesn't help you out in the dating field. I mean, it
Yeah.
doesn't. And then as you grow and get older and learn, I mean, it gets better. So
Yeah.
now it's totally different now versus what it was when I was younger. So
Well, thank you.
yeah.
I really do appreciate and love that you share them because you're beautiful, you're talented, you're charismatic, but you still have that low self esteem, and it just goes to show like it doesn't matter who you portray on the outside and what you look like on the outside, because inside you can still be hurting. You can still have
Oh
that
yeah.
pain.
Oh yeah, and I feel like I'm one of those people that have come a long way.
Yeah.
It's sad to see friends that I've grown up with that kind of have they had the same self-esteem as me, and they still haven't evolved. And it's like, man, it's heartbreaking. It's like,
Yeah.
man, I hate that you're still dating these bad guys, or
Yeah.
you're and it's not that the guys are bad. They're picking the wrong people. It's their
Yeah.
fault. It's that girl's fault. And it was my
Yeah.
fault. I was picking the wrong people. And it's just man, I just feel like I've come out on top.
No,
It's
I definitely, I believe that there are truly bad people out there, but a lot of the times it's not that black and white. I believe that there are very few pure evil people who are mean and cruel just to be mean and cruel. Most of the time, it's because trauma, abuse, or they were just simply never taught how to love properly. They were never
right.
taught how to nourish and how to express themselves in a
Oh, right.
healthy way.
Or even to like love yourself. I mean, a lot of
Yeah,
people don't know how to love themselves.
yeah.
I think that's a big part of it. Like,
Absolutely. This
yeah,
morning on the morning show, we were talking about how some people high school never ends for them. They
right,
just never get out of that mindset.
right.
Yeah,
No, isn't that crazy?
it really is. It really is. It almost I feel like people who are like that are people who rarely say yes.
Yeah.
They're people who rarely push against the grain, and they're people who rarely take opportunities. They find something they're comfortable in, they sit in that, and so they never grow because they're never forced to.
Right. And you know what I think is interesting too is when you talk to somebody how all they ever do is bring up the past. You know,
Yeah,
there's people who talk about the past and there's people who talk about the present and then
yeah,
there's people who talk about the future. So I'm not like a future person. You know, I'll talk about my past, but I won't even bring it up unless somebody asks about it, you know.
yeah.
But it's weird to me when people go, yeah, back in the day I did this and this and this. And it just comes out of nowhere. And I'm like, okay,
I
all right.
was I was 16 working at Chipotle wrapping burritos, and I had a manager like that who every day would tell, especially if we had a new female coworker, he would love to tell her about how he did college baseball and how he used to bench press all this weight.
Yes.
And one day
I used
he
to have a
was,
rack. I used to have a rack.
yeah,
And I'm like,
yeah,
you
my abs
used to.
had abs.
I know, like, why do you keep dwelling on what you used to have?
Yeah. Well, one
Come
day
on.
I was doing dishes with one of the female coworkers that I knew he had a thing for, and that's what I was doing. I was doing it because they were dirty dishes and they needed to get done. And she and I both had our sleeves rolled up, so we're doing them fast. There's water going everywhere. We have the plastic aprons on, and he sees us and he walks over and just very dramatically puts his arms up, looks at me, and he goes, "Yeah, I'm low key beefy," and then just starts talking about that stuff that he used to do. And eventually, I looked at him and I go, "Yep." And now we both wrap burritos now for $10 an hour, and just go back to scrubbing. Like,
I know. I don't understand those people. Well, it's cool to brag. I think it's cool to brag every now and then, kind of be like, "Hey, I did that. That was cool." And you're like,
yeah.
"Yeah." But when it's just like all the time,
I think
man.
when it is relative to conversation,
Right,
it is
right.
when it like, but to him to just like come up and just be like, "Yeah, so I used to play in college baseball." Like, okay, that's
So
cool.
what? So
Yeah,
what?
didn't ask. We were talking about last night's episode of whatever TV show was popular then. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they pull out a picture of themselves back when they were 18 years old, and they have like an 18, and then they got like a beer belly now. They're like, "So this is when I was 18." I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, wow, you went from a 6-pack to a keg. I like it.
I know. I don't want to tell them either. I'm like, "And your point here?"
Yeah, yeah. I try to be self aware of that now though, because as active as I try to be active now, so that way I don't end up being that future. But then part of me is also like, you know what? I kind of want to just like one day just have that beer belly and just sit and just kind of relax.
And
That
like
sounds
not
nice.
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just don't understand people pulling out those old pictures and like because I don't like pull out a picture of myself in a bikini and go, "This was me."
Yep. Maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe they're trying to set it up. Maybe they're like, "Ooh, if I do this, then maybe she'll show me that bikini pic from when she was in high school." I mean, like
I
when
don't
she was 17, you creep.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah,
To
people
each
are
their
funny.
own, man. To each their own.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that in this upcoming 10 years that we're going to see a really big shift in how people act with one another socially, just because mental health, the movement, has become so prevalent in our culture in general. Everything is expressing how you feel, trying to find a healthier, happier, balanced lifestyle, trying to accept others. But then there's also this cancel culture that's swarmed with it as well.
Oh,
So it's going to
it's
be really
so
interesting.
bad.
Yeah.
It's so bad, and it has to stop because I
Oh,
mean,
absolutely.
when you raise children, you don't cancel them when they do something wrong.
No,
You know,
no.
you sit them down and slap them on the hand and give them a timeout or whatever. You don't
Yeah.
delete them from Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, a lot of things too, like people were trying to there was a group and they got shut down fast. But there was a group that was trying to cancel Eminem for his lyrics way back in like 2000.
See, I don't understand why you try to cancel somebody out for their lyrics. That is art.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, their lyrics, their tweets, like anything, and people dig stuff up. That's what I don't get.
Yeah.
You dig stuff up from like way, way back in the day. It's like, well, how much have you changed? And they're the same people that say, I've just grown so much in the past 30 minutes. Like,
right.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to watch. Yeah, I think the best thing to do is just not say so much on social media, and that's the only way you're not going to get canceled.
And unless it's work related or I'm promoting something that's usually work related, I very, very rarely post on social media, like ever.
Right, that's right. It's all for business now. I mean, whatever you're putting out there, it's got to be for business related stuff, or it's just photos of your family. You cannot put an opinion up anymore because you're going to get canceled somehow, some way. Somebody is going to say something if you have an opinion.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's
we're like
you're always going to piss somebody off, and that somebody, for whatever reason, always seems to have power on the internet.
Yep, I know. Isn't that weird?
It is.
Irony in that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're coming up towards our time here. Is there anything that you would like to promote? Any shows that you have coming up? Any music? Any videos you have coming out? What do you got going on for us?
I've got 2 singles coming out. I'm waiting on my artwork in about 6 weeks, and you can go to my website. It's theamiebishop.com.
Awesome.
And I've got about 14 shows lined up. We're kind of playing everywhere.
Are you touring at all, or are you just staying in Arkansas?
We're doing some kind of little touring, just kind of going out of the city. Like right now, we're going to Texarkana next week. We're going to go to Conway. We're going to go to Arkadelphia. I'm trying to get us further. It's just been weird. So, but I think it's going to start picking back up. So.
All right. Well, if you ever come into the Ohio area, let me know, and I would happily travel and come see you play a show.
All right. Just find me a place to play, and I'll be there. I'll call them up.
Oh, Cleveland. We have all kinds of places up here.
Ohio.
Yes, we got a lot of bars and a lot of nice venues and stuff like that all throughout Ohio.
I've been to Cleveland. I love it there. It's cool.
I really enjoy it. Oh, it's fun. Yeah, especially if you find the hole in the wall joints. There's a lot of like secret restaurants and like little tourist. They would be touristy areas if people knew about them, and that's the best part because nobody knows about them. So you get like these really pretty views of the city or like history behind how things were built, and nobody knows about them. So they're just like your little Easter eggs.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Awesome.
Cool. Well, thank you for having me on. I thought that was super cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. Once again, my name is Gavin Kerr. We're here with Amie Bishop. This has been Between the Notes, and we will see you all next time. Have a wonderful day. Take care.
Bye.